All right, here we are on Chapter 2, first day, Lesson 1. Chapter 2 is Shaping Earth's Surface, page 42. Lesson 1, Weathering and Erosion Wear Down the Surface of Earth. How do you think this stone arch was formed? Lesson 2, A stream can begin as a trickle, then flow into rivers that carry huge amounts of water. How do rivers shape Earth's surface? Lesson 3, Ocean waves pound coastlines day after day. What kinds of structures form at beaches? Okay, you need your book, your paper, pencil, and your two colors, blue and red, either pencils or pens, or crayons to underline if you need to. Turning the page again, Lesson 1. How is Earth's surface worn down? Weathering and erosion are forces that change the surface of Earth. Sometimes these changes happen quickly, but usually they happen very slowly. When they say very slowly, they're talking like thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of years. The rock formation shown here took thousands of years to form. Understanding how and why Earth changes helps scientists predict such changes in the future. Okay, page 48 is where we're going to start taking notes. Let's get our pencil. Let's set up our paper. First thing is the same. I write my name. Remember to write your name. Don't write Mr. Rob. Class or period. AVID 6. Capital AVID. Number 6. Today's date. 9/21/2020 for September 21st, 2020. That's Monday. So actually, when you're taking these notes, it'll be Tuesday, 9/22. 9/22. Topic or objective. Well, we are doing science. Capital SCIENCE. FNT. Capital F. Capital N. Capital T. Colon. Phase. Capital PHASE. 1. Number 1. Take, capital TAKE, notes, capital NOTES. So our objective is to take notes, to do phase 1 of FNT, and we're doing it in science. Our topic is actually going to be part of our main idea essential question. Okay, first, let's fold our paper over about halfway to get that crease down the middle. Okay, let's get our blue pen, blue pencil, or blue crayon to underline what we write. Wearing down Earth's surface. So over here in the far left margin, wearing, capital WEARING, down, capital DOWN, Earth's, capital EARTH', surface, capital SURFACE. Okay, let's see. Main idea, essential question. So let's go on the top line and let's give ourselves some space. Main, capital MAIN. Idea, capital IDEA. Slash, capital E, period, capital Q, period, colon. Destructive forces, such as weathering and erosion, wear down Earth's surface features. Okay, so let's take some notes. Destructive, capital DESTRUCT, destruct, IVE, destructive forces, FORCES, parentheses, weathering, WEATHERING, and, that's the down, 3 down, erosion, EROSION, close the parentheses, weathering and erosion, wear down, WEAR, down, DOWN, surface, SURFACE, features, FEATURES. So the main idea of this whole lesson is that destructive forces like weathering and erosion wear down surface features on the Earth. All right, let's do our vocabulary. Erosion. So erosion, E-R-O-S-I-O-N, says it's on page 50. Find the word erosion, go backwards to the start of its sentence. The carrying away of sediments is called erosion. So erosion is carrying, C-A-R-R-Y-I-N-G, away, A-W-A-Y, sediments, S-E-D-I-M-E-N-T-S. Let's check and see, is sediments one of our vocabulary words? Yes, so we're about to find out what sediments are. Okay, the next one is sediment, S-E-D-I-M-E-N-T. That's on page 48. There it is. Go backwards to the start of its sentence. Small rock pieces are called sediment. So sediment is small, S-M-A-L-L, rock, R-O-C-K, comma, sand, comma, silt, S-I-L-T. Those are examples. Small rock, sand, silt is like very fine little particles of sand, clay, dirt, basically any little bits of pieces of earth that move. Sediment can be large, but usually it's very small, even microscopic. Okay, next up, weathering. Find the word, backwards to the beginning. The rocks are broken into pieces by processes of weathering. Okay, weathering, W-E-A-T-H-E-R-I-N-G. So what it does, weathering is breaking, B-R-E-A-K-I-N-G, into, I-N-T-O, pieces, P-I-E-C-E-S. So weathering means breaking things into pieces. Like how this tree is growing up in between these two rocks and breaking them apart, that is one type of weathering. And then all the dirt around here is sediment. All right, now we should be able to get our red pen and do our heading. Weathering. Skip a line, weathering, capital W-E-A-T-H-E-R-I-N-G. Weathering. Back to our pencil. Earth's crust is mostly solid rock. The rocks are broken into pieces by processes of weathering. Weathering is a destructive force, meaning a force that breaks down something. There are two types of weathering, mechanical and chemical. Okay, so we know that weathering is breaking things into pieces. We already know that the Earth's crust is solid rock because we learned that in a previous lesson. So the new thing here is the two types of weathering, mechanical and chemical. Types, T-Y-P-E-S, mechanical, M-E-C-H-A-N-I-C-A-L, and down, 3 down, chemical, C-H-E-M-I-C-A-L, mechanical and chemical. Mechanical weathering is the breaking of larger rocks into smaller pieces. Small rock pieces are called sediment. In cold climates, ice plays a major role in this process. As water freezes, it expands. When water trickles into the cracks of rocks, it can break the rocks apart when it freezes. Moving air and water also cause mechanical weathering. As blown sand or rushing water hits rocks, the rocks weaken. Over time, they crack or crumble. Even living things can cause mechanical weathering. Plant roots can grow through cracks and break apart rocks. Burrowing animals push against rocks and allow water to move deeper into rocks and soil, where freezing and thawing can weather them. Sometimes rocks will peel into sheets. As soil and rocks are moved from the surface, pressure on the rock below is reduced. This may allow minerals in the rock to expand. An outer layer of the rock will peel away. Eventually, other layers may also crack. Okay, and then the next part gets into the chemical. So let's go back and think about mechanical. Moving air and water. So we're going to treat this like it's a T-chart, have an imaginary line right there. And underneath mechanical, moving, M-O-V-I-N-G, air, A-I-R, / water, W-A-T-E-R. So moving air you can think of like sand dunes and how they can change from the blowing wind. Moving water, rivers can carve out valleys or rifts or canyons. Okay, what else? We talked about the blown sand, so underneath moving air, blown, B-L-O-W-N, sand, S-A-N-D. Rushing water, rocks weaken over time, they crack or crumble. So crack, C-R-A-C-K, / crumble, C-R-U-M-B-L-E. Living things can cause it, so roots, R-O-O-T-S. Burrowing animals, B-U-R-R-O-W-I-N-G, burrowing. So there was that example of a plant and roots doing it. Freezing and thawing is a big one, right? Freeze, F-R-E-E-Z-E / thaw, T-H-A-W. Or pressure, P-R-E-S-S-U-R-E. Remember we learned about how the mantle and the crust, there's so much weight that it causes and pushes pressure on the core, and that's why the very center of the core is actually still solid, even though it's super hot. Well, if you relieve some of that pressure, that lets things expand, which then lets them crack and crumble and erode. So, mechanical weathering. Examples include moving air and water, or blown sand. It causes things to crack and crumble. Even roots or burrowing animals can cause mechanical weathering. Freezing and thawing of water causes mechanical weathering, and even changes in pressure can cause mechanical weathering. Okay, let's look at this page. Trees have the power to move or split rocks as they grow. Okay, so we covered that in our notes. Let's go to the next one. Although mechanical weathering breaks rocks, it does not change the type of rock. In chemical weathering, the compositions of rocks change. Okay, that's very important, so we're going to write down composition, C-O-M-P-O-S-I-T-I-O-N, and then kind of indent so we know it goes together, changes, C-H-A-N-G-E-S. Okay, let's look at that word composition, or to compose, or to put something together. Chemical weathering changes what the something is put together, or what the rock is made of. So if you have one type of rock, let's say it's something like limestone, for example, like in these caves. Chemical weathering is actually going to change that, and it's not going to be limestone anymore. It's going to change it into some other kind of rock, or it's going to completely erode and weather it away, and it will become like minerals, or it'll become elements in the water that will flow away. Water is the main factor that causes chemical weathering. Water can dissolve some minerals that make up rocks. Water can also dissolve compounds in the air and soil to form weak acids. This acidic water can dissolve certain minerals. For example, weak acids dissolve minerals in limestone and marble easily. Okay, so let's talk about water. W-A-T-E-R. Dissolves, D-I-S-S-O-L-V-E-S. Minerals, M-I-N-E-R-A-L-S. Okay, so let's think of that dissolves. Imagine that you put a little bit of salt in water and then you stir it. Do you notice that the salt seems to disappear and you can't see it anymore? That's because the salt is dissolving in the water. It's splitting up into its little individual atoms, and it's still in the water, but now instead of forming a salt crystal, it's dissolved in the water. It's very tiny elements that you can't see. Same thing with sugar. You can pour sugar in water, stir it up. The sugar crystals will dissolve in the water, and it looks like it's gone, but if you taste it, you still have sweet water. Okay, and then let's talk about how compounds in the air and soil can make it acidic, and acids erode things, right? Acids kind of dissolve or tear things down. So water dissolves minerals, parentheses, acid, A-C-I-D, close parentheses. Okay, moving on. Generally, a combination of different types of weathering is at work in a region. Most weathering takes place at or near Earth's surface. However, water trickling through the ground can affect rocks far beneath the surface. Caves are underground hollow areas created by weathering. Large caves are often called caverns. Most caverns are made from limestone. Weak acids seep into the ground until they reach a zone soaked with water. As the groundwater becomes more acidic, it dissolves calcite and other minerals in the rock. Over time, the action of the acidic water produces holes in the rock. The holes grow, creating passages, chambers, and pits, and eventually become caves. At first, the caves are full of water. Later, the water drains away. So what they're saying is sometimes when this water dissolves minerals and becomes acidic, it seeps down into the ground. Weak acids formed in rainwater seep into the ground where they weather rock. And then when the water gets below the surface, like here, then it can start eroding that limestone. Over time, holes are produced. Eventually, the holes grow into caves. Okay, so right here, seep, S-E-E-P, into, I-N-T-O, ground, G-R-O-U-N-D. Form, F-O-R-M, caves, C-A-V-E-S. So, mechanical weathering, we know what that is. Chemical weathering is composition changes. Chemical weathering causes composition changes. In other words, it changes the makeup of rocks and dirt. Water can dissolve minerals and become acidic, and then that acidic water can seep into the ground and eat away at the limestone and form caves. Okay, we looked at the pictures. Caves are a result of weathering. We just put that here. How can water from Earth's surface create a cave? Okay, can we answer that question? Well, water from Earth's surface can create a cave because that water might be acidic. And acidic water can dissolve minerals. So when the water seeps into the ground, it changes the composition of the rock, it erodes or weathers, and it forms caves by leaving behind holes. Okay, that is our first day of setup and notes. We have a set here for tomorrow, and we have a set here for the last day, and that's it. So this is a 3-day set of notes. Okay, good job persevering, and roar Wildcats!